All right. So I really want to come on here and share a really beautiful, profound, life-changing day that I had 2 days ago or so. Me and my youngest sister, Jamie Lee, we decided to exchange modalities. So I just finished a course recently in mind-body therapy. So I'm a somatic practitioner of mind-body therapy, which is a holistic therapy that obviously includes the body as well as the mind and the way that they work together. So lots of like accessing the psyche and the implicit memory through working with the body. And that has been mind-blowing. And just sort of as I was finishing, my sister started a sexological bodywork course. I think that's what it's called. And whereas it's very similar work, whereas I'm working with like the whole body, not in a sexual way, and Jamie Lee is working with somatics and the whole body, but in, you know, really in this in a sexual way, working on sexual energy. So, and for me personally, I've got some like sexual trauma in my past, and I've, you know, this is an area that isn't so comfortable for me, even though, you know, if you it might look like that from like some of my posts maybe, but it's been a really big journey, and it is still a big journey of me connecting to that and to my sexuality and my inner power. I would say it's where my biggest blocks are my sacral chakra. And, you know, and then my sister, beautiful Jamie Lee, was here, like, you know, she'd like to connect to her body and her emotions in a non-sexual way. So we really, like, we planned this day. It was a beautiful sunny day, and we went to a local park, and we just sat there in nature by ourselves, and we exchanged sessions. So first I guided her through a mind-body session, mind-body integration session, where we worked on, you know, you just focus on the sensations in the body and then let the body lead the session. So whatever comes up in the present moment is what we pay attention to, and the magic happens from there. So that was really profound. I'll let her tell her own story. And then Jamie Lee was exchanging me a Yoni mapping session. So I'd never done anything like that before. I've never had a Yoni massage, apart from like a lover. I've never had like a professional Yoni massage or Yoni mapping or anything holistic sort of happening down there, apart from consensual lovemaking and self-pleasure, which is also something that I'm like a little bit, and then I'm like, ooh, and like a little bit deeper, and then so there's still this relationship that I'm forming with my Yoni, my genitals. The way that this Yoni mapping was gonna work is that it's me with a mirror, and Jamie Lee, so setting up to guide me into naming and touching and feeling the different parts of my Yoni, my vagina anatomy, naming the parts and feeling into them, and just making a conscious connection, which is something I've never done, not like that. And done Yoni gazing before on my own, but just sort of started looking down there, really looking, but not like touching and looking and naming and stopping and feeling. And it was definitely something that I was excited to be guided through. And it was a little bit strange, you know, being guided by my youngest sister. We're very close, so I wasn't worried about that. But obviously there was some older sister stuff coming up around, you know, being the oldest sister, starting to grow pubic hair and breasts, and mum putting me in the bath with my little sisters, and then being like, ew, what's going on with your body? Ew. And me just going filled with shame and like begging mum, like, no, I have to have showers now, like I'm getting older, I don't want them to see me naked anymore. So there was like, now all of a sudden I'm like with this mirror, I've got my vagina out, and my sister is guiding me to and teaching me about my own genitals. So I was pretty nervous, but also felt very safe in her hands. And you know, she's training in she'll be able to Yoni map for people, but obviously we decided that, you know, it's best that I just do the touching myself. And it wasn't a self-pleasure practice. Like, she ended up showing me some tips on, you know, different techniques that I can use on myself, but the goal wasn't orgasm or pleasure. It was just like, ooh, what's that? Ooh, what does that feel like? Oh, hello. And like really getting in the mirror and looking and naming parts. I didn't have to go over any sexual trauma with my sister because she already knows. So, you know, that was nice, being in someone's hands that already knows my story. I think I feel like she would have learnt a lot actually about me by the way the session went. And all right, so some things that I noticed, being witnessed with the mirror and my Yoni, was really intense. Well, first we settled in and we like did some breathing techniques and made some eye contact, and that's really important for making a woman feel safe. So in order for a woman to feel safe and to open sexually, there's a few different things that kind of need to be set out, like a nice safe area, some eye contact, some breathing, some connection, some nice smells, whatever it is. You know, we need a lot actually to surrender and feel safe. So we did a little bit of that and had a chat, and I set my intention to connect and to learn about her. And then when I felt ready, I took my pants off, and we sort of, you know, sitting like, whoa, okay, all right, like right here with this mirror, you know. And then we started to name the parts, and like the outer, like the pubic bone and the outer lips. That was sort of, you know, kind of knew my way around there, and you know, did some like movement to sort of wake that part up. And yeah, you know, Jamie Lee kept asking me, and how does that feel? What do you feel there? And I just didn't know what to say. Like, I just had nothing. And here I am working with people and their awareness in their bodies all the time. But when it comes to this part, I was like, what do you mean, what do I feel? You know, it was really that energy. Like, what do you mean, what do I feel? What does it feel like? It feels like skin. Like, oh, it feels like skin on my finger. Like, what do you mean? What does it feel like? And there's defense. So I just explained whatever I was feeling, which was most of the time like, I don't know what you mean. Like, it's interesting. I don't know. This kind of like grouchy kind of teenager energy. And then, yeah, like adding some oil in there, and then, you know, eventually like opening her up and having a look, and okay, these are my inner labia and like the clitoral hood, and like pulling that back up, looking for my clitoris. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know like that's where that is, and and I can just like look at it and find it. And it was, you know, a little bit like, is that it? I don't know. Like, obviously when there's more arousal, it's more engorged. I mean, I say obviously, but I only really know that from this session. And like, I've never self-pleasured too, like whilst looking and mapping at the same time. So I wasn't sure what I thought was in there. You know, so this is the most powerful pleasure center, you know, in humankind, you know, on earth, you could say. So, and I have one, and I didn't know where it was exactly. Like, that really like shocked me. I was like, oh, like I didn't know that actually. And then there's some shame that comes in, like, what's wrong with me? Like, why don't I even know my own body? And obviously repeating the story now, I can feel that, and then pull this back and open up here and have a look, and we're gonna find your urethra. And I was like, where I piss from? And she's like, yep, it should be like up. And then Jamie kind of had to get a little bit closer, and I'd move the mirror closer because we both couldn't find it. And I was like, wait a minute, what the fuck are you telling? I don't know where I pee from. Like, I thought this whole time that I kind of peed from this area somewhere. I didn't know that it came from like this little hole, like up and in there. And then I started crying. I was like, why? How come I don't even know where I pee from? Like you gotta laugh. It's so ridiculous. And yeah, we just took a breath there, and just sort of, Jamie really empathized with me. Like, yeah, it is fucked up that we don't even know our own anatomy. No one taught us. Don't know where we pee from. And still, she's like, I think it's there. And I was like, I don't know, I don't see anything. Like, can't see anything. So I'm still not, like, I know around the rough area, but obviously every woman's different, so I'm not sure exactly where it is. That made me really emotional. Like, yeah, how do I not know where I fucking pee from? And then, yeah, just doing some, like, the G spot and the A spot, and like feeling these different areas. And there were moments where like waves of heat and anger and fury and like just wanting to stop it came up, and we just grounded back in and came back to breath. Lots of like, this sort of, my nervous system, everything kind of going into freeze mode and tense mode, and really having to breathe into that and relax. Like, even though I'm in a safe environment, I'm with my sister, I'm in nature, it's me here, it's me, my hand. The trauma stuck in the body, was really there, and I could really feel it. And also disassociation. So I'm there, and I'm like looking, and I'm touching, and then I'm like do 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 do, and I'm glancing, and I'm daydreaming, and I'm like, oh, fuck, what's going on? So another tactic to avoid sensation in this area is like numbness, tensing up, pushing it away, and leaving with the mind. And I realized that not only do I not know myself very well at all down there or in this way, I don't know where I was going with that. There's this block. That's what happened there. There's this block. And numbness. And I felt like there was this moment where she said, I was like sort of massaging my clitoral hood, this certain technique. We played around with some different techniques, and she was like, how does that feel there? And I was like, I say it like, I don't feel anything. Like, I don't know. At times it felt like I needed to pee, and then Jamie Lee brought to my attention that the only association that we're taught to have with this part of us is like the sensation of, oh, pee, okay, I need to go to the toilet. Oh, pee, okay, I need to go to the toilet. We're not like taught about like orgasms or pleasure or anything like that. So we get a sensation and our mind just goes straight to like, okay, that's pee. So female ejaculation is something that I haven't experienced consciously. Like, there's been some times where there's been a big puddle and I'm like, is that? I don't know, but I don't recall a moment where I'm like, I've very gotten to that feeling of like, oh my God, I'm going to pee, and then kind of like almost about to explode, and then just like, not stop, overwhelmed and sort of finish, like stop that or make it stop, or it just stops. So that was really interesting, feeling these parts that my body and my mind hasn't registered as pleasure. And oh, that's right. And then my sister Jamie Lee was asking me like, what is your clitoris saying to you? Like, what does it say? And it, leave me alone. And I just got a full wave of shivers now as I'm saying that. But she said to me, leave me alone. And first I thought, oh, she's not saying that to me, she's just projecting that in general. But today, upon reflection, I was like, oh, maybe in a way she was saying that to me. Like, I've forced her to do a lot of things that I thought was cool, or I thought was good, or I thought was fun, without sort of checking in and going like, hey, how do you feel about this person, or how do you feel about this situation, and are you ready? And we make sure that this man knows that, and that we're ready, and asks us for permission. And you know, the transition from being a maiden or a young girl, that awkward as a hell stage, to becoming a woman or a young woman, that teenager messy thing in between, very painful, and no vagina awareness, no yoni awareness, no genital awareness, even though I started to let other people touch her, touching her myself, and and bleeding, and like the relationship was there, but it was unconscious, and it was disconnected from sensation. There was some time when I got back from South America, maybe like a couple of years ago, and I started to get more awareness, and kind of wanted to. I was celibate for like almost a year, 2 years after a painful sexual situation in Peru, and yeah, so I was like, nah, I just need a big break, and I cut myself off from her completely, and like it just wasn't sexual. I just cut it all off, you know, not literally, but energetically cut off the connection, severed the connection. And then I was just starting to bring it back into my life, and having a little play around, and noticing different parts, and actually touching like the G-spot and all these different, like feeling the cervix, and when the cervix would drop a little bit lower, which was closer to my period time, but I wasn't aware of that either. And feeling this cervix and being like, oh my God, what is that? Like, is something wrong with me? Like, you know, because I you know, had this forced rape. It was a rape that happened in Peru, and then I thought that maybe there's something wrong with me, and I you know, cervical cancer is in the genes, and I was panicking, and I went and had all these pap smears, and just these GPs that actually don't know anything, really don't know what they're looking at or what they're looking for, or the whole picture, you know. So they're like sticking these clamps up me and opening up and having a look and scraping some stuff out and doing some tests, and then I'd go all clear, and then I'd go and do it again, and then I get ultrasounds, and then nothing was helping. So I went and saw a gynecologist, $250. So a gynecologist did the same thing, opened my leg, she stuck a clamp in, opened her up, had a good look, nothing wrong with you. I was just like, okay, that's good news, but like, why am I feeling like this? Like, this was months of searching, and I just want to meet a womb witch. I just want help, you know, someone help me, please. And you know, then she clicked, this gynecologist sat me down, was kind of like, you know, you can have a look at this website, they really teach you about the anatomy of the vagina, but you're all good, and sent me on my way. And I was like, I paid $250. She studied this, like she could at least, obviously she doesn't want to get in trouble for crossing a sexual line or whatever. She's probably not trained in trauma, which is ridiculous. How can you be looking at someone's vaginas and not be trained in trauma? Obviously that's why I was coming there. She didn't refer me to anyone, nothing. She gave me nothing. Apart from like, yeah, you're all good. I left really confused, and she couldn't even say, look, that's your this, and that's your that, and that's your whatever. So I know that I'm not alone in that. A lot of us women are really disconnected from our sacred space, and I'm sure a lot of other women don't even know where they pee from, or where exactly their clitoris is, or what the hell is an A spot. So yes, I just wanted to share that. I feel like I haven't gotten in there again yet, but I'm just doing more like just self massage, and just letting her know that like I love her, and that like we're in this together, and nice and slow, and that we've got boundaries to who we let in now, and we take care of each other. So yes, really recommend going on this journey. It's so powerful, and that is where our power is. and where our power has been taken or attempted to be taken as well. So if you need any more information about Jamie Lee and her sessions, or me and my sessions, or just questions about my journey, yeah, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch, and good luck on your journeys of healing. Lots of love. Bye.